Lauren is a pick-me and David knows it. And when David says jump, Lauren says how high. Now, we already kind of saw this in the pods in terms of her being more agreeable. And then when he realized that he liked Molly, she switched it up by saying, well, she has a tattoo saying fuck the patriarchy. So she's not just this boring, basic girl. She also has like a fun, rebellious side. We saw it in the pods. And also, when Molly basically tried to give her the heads up that David is full of shit, she basically went back to David and was like, yeah, she's delusional. Like when he was basically calling Molly delusional, Lauren was agreeing. Then we get to the engagement moon and David is checking his pick me radar even more. And it starts with this snoring thing. He snores apparently, and Lauren made a joke basically saying, yeah, you need to fix that. And then he's basically like, oh, really? Like my ex had a problem with me snoring. Like it's been a problem with my ex. Like she used to have a go at me about my snoring. Immediately she's like, oh no, I'm just joking. Like I would never nag you about snoring. Like it's fine, it's fine. I'm a good sleeper, so it doesn't really matter if you snore or not. So that was another test by David to see, how high he can get Lauren to jump. And she passed with flying colours. She's accommodating his snoring. She's saying it's not a big deal. And on top of that, he just said, oh, my ex-girlfriend had a problem with it. She made me feel bad about it. So now she's going even further to make him feel good about it. So that's 2 gold stars for Lauren and the pick me test. We also see her on the engagement moon bragging about her bikini wax. Well, she didn't really brag about it, but she mentioned it, and I just feel like, okay, mentioning that you got your bikini waxed. They didn't end up having sex on the engagement moon, which I'm not gonna lie, I was a bit surprised about. But I think instead of doing the thing where she has sex to impress him, she's doing the opposite thing where women don't have sex to impress the man. So you can say that she's a good Catholic lady. But one pick me mission that she really struggles with is this whole sneaky link situation. She's struggling to pick me her way out of it. I think her first mistake was being so open about her sexual history, which I feel like was frankly not any of David's business. But I think because there's a dilemma of the person that was her sneaky link knows Dave and his boys, maybe she felt like she had to come forward to get ahead of, somebody coming to him as a man, you know what I mean? Now, we didn't see it, or I didn't see it, but apparently they discussed in the pods about this sneaky link that she had, and she basically said that it wasn't serious. Now, this is before they've got their phones back, but now, all of a sudden, it's an issue for David. Now, in fairness to Lauren, she is pushing back to be like, this wasn't serious and it's no different than what you were doing, because David was out here dating as well. But David and his narcissistic brain is not having it. He's been this pure, abstinent angel, and Lauren has been this shameless whore, fucking around, being the community pussy. But as well as pushing back against this false narrative, she's also giving the energy of, what can I do for us to move past this? What can I do for you to believe me? And when they get out into the real world, he's saying, oh, well, his boys are basically chatting shit about Lauren and how she's basically was fucking this guy. And that basically it was more serious than what she was letting on. And it just basically seems like the goalpost is moving, and the Chinese whispers are getting more ridiculous. And as the Chinese whispers are getting more ridiculous, Lauren is upping the, what can we do to move past this? What can I do to make you believe me? She's even going to the point where she kind of wants a meeting with him and his friends so his friends can interrogate her and she can be uncomfortable. Like she admittedly said, if I have to be around your friends and be uncomfortable to prove that I'm not this whore that they're saying that I am, I will do it. What? And then even in the trailer for the next episode, she's still begging for Dave. Why? Quite frankly, Dave's whole stance on this, her having a sneaky link, is ridiculous. There is some dispute about when this sneaky link relationship actually ended, whether it was literally right before she went into the pause, whether it was a week before, whether it was 2 months before, whether it was a month before. But I'm sorry, even if it was the morning before she went into the pods, she last fucked that guy, in my opinion, it's irrelevant. I'm very much of the stance of single till married. So, like, yeah, if I'm not married, I'm fucking single. If I'm not at least engaged, I'm single. So, before we get engaged, who I'm fucking is not your business. And even when we get engaged, who I fucked in the past is none of your business either. So the fact that Lauren is trying to convince this man that it wasn't like he's saying, even if it was, it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter. Like, you've made a commitment to this guy. And David himself was doing the same thing. So I just feel like at this point, it's gone past of the pick me point. It's got to the point where he doesn't want you anymore and he wants you to break up with him so bad. And you're not doing it. You're still playing these pick me games. And what's even worse about this is that in the midst of this slut shaming, David is like, oh, like, you were with this guy before the pods and we haven't even had sex. So he's slut shaming her, but also wants to have sex with her just so he can say that he had sex with her as well. Like, that's fucking mad. I just feel like the fact that she is willing to basically let him dangle his friends in front of her, like basically saying, like, I don't want to pick between you and my friends, and these friends haven't even met you, and you're still there like, oh, let me convince his friends. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. And what just makes it even more ridiculous is that it's not even like there's been months put into this manipulation, right? You know this man 2 weeks. Dump him. There are plenty of men out there that don't give a fuck about body count, don't give a fuck about who you were sleeping with, or even down to Kiki, down to exchange whole stories. Not that I think that Lauren is a whore. I just feel like this is like a very like Catholic judgment where even like kissing someone on the cheek, they'll probably label you a whore. But even if she wants to like marry a Catholic or Christian man, you know, there are men that are not uptight like this when it comes to like body count and sleeping and stuff like that. Because I feel like Christian men, I feel like men in general are quite hypocritical, but especially the religious ones, and especially the religious whores, because Christian men are whores out here. And this is just like the never-ending cycle of a pick-me. You think that you achieved, you think that you passed your mission and everything's complete. Nope, another mission pops up. Because when you let them take an inch, they will then take a mile. I'm kind of struggling even to feel bad for Lauren in this situation, because girl, pack your shit up and leave. It is so ridiculous. But I gotta hear from you guys. Do any of you guys kind of relate to this? You know, any former pick-me's, any current pick-me's, you know? Can you relate to this? Or do you just feel like this is ridiculous? Let me know what you guys think.